me whether Betty had been my partner or just a roommate. I'll see if I can explain. Betty had been the head of foster care at the state agency I worked for 31 years, and her partner, Margaret, was the head of adoptions. They were a hard-working, hard-drinking, hard-partying pair of gals in a crowd of similar professionals, many of them also gay and partnered. Well, when Margaret died in 1976, Betty was 70 years old, and she was terribly alone. She was losing weight, she was looking haggard, drinking too much, eating too little, and people said, "We have to do something." So they asked Betty, now retired, to help us with the legislature. They see state employees can't go to committee meetings unless they're specifically invited. But Betty was a bright, together, savvy, private citizen who knew the issues inside and out. She was a godsend, and she loved being needed. But I was the only single woman with an extra bedroom. Would I take Betty for a few days just while the legislature is in session? Well, I could hardly say no. The legislative session went on, and Betty stayed, and stayed. It drove me nuts. She wasn't neat. She had all kinds of magazines. She had at least 8 books going at any given moment. She piled things here and there. We had one bathroom, and she'd be in there every morning after breakfast doing the crossword. The last straw was the day that I looked up from the kitchen table and her stuff blocked my view of the television set, and I blurted out, "If you are going to be here much longer, we have to have a bigger house." It wasn't what I meant to say, but it's what I said. And Betty replied, "You're right, we need more space." I was horrified. Instead of throwing her out, I had made a commitment. We started looking. After a few weeks of me secretly hoping we wouldn't be able to find the right house, we saw a 4-bedroom, 2-bath stucco with a 20 by 40 in-ground swimming pool. I looked at the pool, and I looked at Betty, and I thought, oh, I'm never going to get up the courage to throw her out. And I've always wanted a pool. After she moved in, surprise, when she had her own bedroom, bathroom, and den, she was very tidy. This was her home, and she took good care of it. And we took good care of each other. It was not a great romance, but it turned into a wonderful partnership. We were not lovers, but we came to love each other very dearly. We were together from the middle 70s till past the turn of the millennium. The last 14 months, Betty was on hospice. The doctor thought she'd last less than 6 weeks, but she hung in there. It was not easy, but in many ways, it was wonderful. To be able to be that important to someone, to be able to give to her, and to feel her love and gratitude. Betty died on December 12, 2001. She was 96 years old. And we had been together for 24 years, 11 months, and 12 days. So, there's the answer to your question. If I had just said, well, I lived with Betty for a long time, but then she died, you would have wondered. Now you know. Happy Pride Month.